Hello. Mhm. Hello, guys. Hello, hello. Can you hear me, guys? Okay, perfect. Sound and clear? Okay, there's only Gillette, Andres, and Sophie, Nadia. Okay, welcome. Okay, guys. Honoring are very punctual. We're going to begin. Okay. I know that you're present now. Well, what I want to them randomly, I just really hope you do not copy the same homework because if you have the same homework and most of you have the same homework, then it's lousy. I will record my class, and after I log out, you can go in to the same link and watch it over in replay, and I think it gets better. I think the sequence and the connection gets better. There is something about online streaming that takes up a lot of the Wi-Fi capacity. I'm gonna go over some of the stuff that I assigned to you. Okay, so um, the assignment was about going to the links that I specified for each of the what we really study in sociology and in geography. Okay, so in sociology we're looking at the little table and what's the subject. Whenever we're talking about the subject, it's not like in language that we say Peter talks to Amy. Okay, Peter is the subject, then there's the verb, there's the predicate. When we talk about social sciences, the subject is not going to be the person that actions, that performs the action. On the other hand, the subject is going to be what we are studying, the matter of the course, okay, the core of the course. So it says, is a social life shaped in such a manner that we can categorize them, we can assign them a value, we can even qualify them. Okay, so what sociology studies is the phenomena. Phenomena is the plural for phenomenon. Phenomenon is because before we think something, before we speak something, we think it through. Okay, so the words that I'm speaking right now are a phenomenon in singular of what I am thinking. You cannot see my thoughts, but you can. The subject of sociology, what sociology studies, is the social life, life in groups. You know perfectly that we do not behave in the same manner when we're individuals than when we belong to a group. And you can tell right now, you can be the perfect boyfriend or girlfriend, or you can be the perfect friend outside your house. And now that you are confined to your household and you are forced to coexist with your parents and your brother and your sister, then you may get into a mood that is only happening within your house. When you go outside, you behave in a different way. Okay, so group behavior does influence. Okay, and we have a lot of examples throughout history about mass hysteria. Okay, mass hysteria. There is a case in Nairobi, in Africa, where like a girl started laughing in class. I think she was in a fifth grader. She was a fifth grader, and she started laughing because I don't know, whatever makes a fifth grader laugh. And she started laughing, and then all of a sudden it got contagious. Another classmate was laughing, and then all of a sudden the whole class was they got into a crisis, an attack, a laughter attack, and yes, that exists, and then because they were, and that's a case. You can actually Google it. It's called. Let me Google it here so that you can see it. It's something very, very weird. But that actually shows you that we behave very differently in groups than how we behave individually. When we behave individually, our behavior individually is studied by after epidemic. Okay, it says that it was an outbreak of mass hysteria, and it was rumored to have occurred near the village of Kashana in the western coast of Lake Victoria in Tanzania. And this happened in 1962, January 30th. And they were, as I told you, it was like a school, only girl school in Kinshasa. And three girls started laughing and they started spreading the laughter. And then all of a sudden, 95 people were laughing, and then 159 people were laughing between ages 12 to 18. And the symptoms lasted for 16 days. So during 16 days, it is real. It is actually real that we behave very differently, okay, in groups than when we're individuals, okay. And so the people, for example, management, okay, you cannot study management if you're by yourself at a store and you just bought like a place and you're the only employee, you're the owner, you're everything. As social studies starts when you have more than two or three people, okay. When you have a group, when you have a team, then you can do a social science, okay. Then the method that it uses methods of are going to behave like that. For example, the mass hysteria. That's a phenomena that has occurred over the past years, but not everything can be called mass hysteria. Okay, not everything, and not all the time, and not everybody, right? So remember our theory about generalization. To accomplish, it has to meet so that it can be qualified as a mass hysteria or a, I don't know, like a global, yeah, like a global something. And but we cannot say that it's all the time, always. Okay. What kind of topics do you study in sociology? Well, we can study mass hysteria. We can study the behavior of groups, team management. We can study constructions of some roles. For example, a father or a mother, they have a construction of roles around them. You may eventually find a mother or an association of mothers that do not behave in the same specific way that it's been spelled out. But generally, we can talk about categories. Okay, we can study um, zeitgeist. We can study um, religious associations, clubs. How, for example, people that belong to Las Chivas club behave, as opposed to people that belong to the Atlas club behavior. Okay, so and that's about sociology. Now let's go over what geography is about. Geography, as its name states, physical geography is going to be about mountains and valleys and rivers and oceans, and how a little bit of geopolitics too, like how countries debate each other so that they can have a way out to the sea, or how they have natural resources, or how certain mountain range influences on tourism, or etc. Okay, so physical geography talks about what its name says. It's material stuff, mountains, canyons, valleys, rivers, etc., and how they're located, and how also they influence the people, the villages around it. Remember that big body of water like Babylonia or Mesopotamia, they were built around the Tigris and the Euphrates rivers. Okay, and Egypt was built around the Nile, and Rome was built up around the Transdeveres, okay, the river. So we're going to talk about a group of people that share an identity. And when we talk about a country or a state, we're talking about the government and the territory and the association that is related to that piece of land. Okay, for example, Great Britain, and we have the English. right? Although the whole territory may be called England or maybe called Great Britain, all right? So physical geography is going to talk about all of that. How physical material divisions, a mountain range, a river, all of that that we have already mentioned, determines the behavior or the association of a nation. Okay, and then on the other side, population rises affect the conditions of the earth carrying capacity, how some countries have been pushed or have been forced to eliminate some of their minorities. For example, I remember that in 1948, India broke up into three countries. It broke up into Pakistan, into Bangladesh, and into India. Before 1948, India was or embraced those territories. It was as big as all of those three. And then because to break up the country into three, and literally they gave them like 9 months so that they can migrate. So if you were Muslim and you would live in India, you would be expected to migrate to Bangladesh or to Pakistan. In that way, people that were in Pakistan and they were living there and they were Hindus, they were asked to move with all their belongings and with everything to India. So as you can see, human geography talks about the lives of people within a territory. Obviously, it's very related because it affects this human geography affects um, physical geography because think about it. I mean, in order to build the population growth in human geography affects the physical geography because we're modifying the physical spaces so that the human beings can live there. Also, another thing that affects human geography affects physical geography is in agriculture. Okay, the fact that we are living that so many people are living in the world or in some specific area makes people have to cultivate some more resources. So instead of like having 100,000 tons of oranges a year for production in California, then maybe because of the population rise over the past years, they are forced to cultivate maybe 200 tons of oranges in California, in Florida, and then make the whole world or the destination of some lands that maybe previously were woods and natural reserves. Now they are made into cultivation lands, okay, with the erosion that it conveys. So as you can see, mortality rate, um, infant rates of mortality. It talks about expectancy, life, and the middle part of Mexico is full of Aztec people. And like in the areas of Michoacan, they're purépechas and the indigenous. Okay, some uses of geography, okay, for investigations or research, how they impact on human activities, and how these advances map making. They use maps a lot, obviously. Cartography, which is the science of the drawing of maps over and over again. Sometimes you have a map that only locates mountain ranges. Sometimes you have maps that only locate rivers and lakes and oceans. Sometimes you have maps that locate cities or capitals of the world. Okay. All right. That I don't think you need to take notes, Oscar, because you have your table. We're going over the table. For me, it's very important, and then revise it is going to be a little bit difficult. So I want to teach you. I want to go over the homework, and in that way, that every content is clear. Obviously, I modify the second block, the second partial, so that it's very simple. And if there is something interesting when we go Friday, would be with the same. Um, yeah, like the same structure. Okay, so I'm going to make up a Word document. I'm going to put two tables with some spaces. I'm going to give you two links. And the next ones are, let me see, hold on, for Friday, and then we can go over them too. Are, mm, Okay, introduction to social science. So we have already covered history and geography. No, we have already covered sociology and geography. So for next time, it's going to be history and political science. So in the same mechanics, okay, I'm going to make up a table. I'm going to give you a link. I'm going to give you some spaces to fill out with political science, and then another one for law. And we meet again on Friday, so the last and third format. And then next week, when you already do that, we can start doing the applications. Okay. So that's how we're going to be earning the points for the second partial due to the sanitary contingency. Is that clear? Mm. Do you have any questions, guys? How are your other classes going? Are you having classes online all the time? Or is it just like very lazy? Yeah, I don't want to, I do not want to give you more activities, like only the necessary and very simple because I for the other teachers. And well, that's it for today, guys. I'm doing very well in my quarantine. I mean, my house is pretty big, so I am not bored at all. Like I have this whole space to work for myself. And I am a consecrated lay, so I live like at a religious congregation, and well, it's very big. The house is very big, so I do not feel confined or limited at all. And like you can see, like everybody's doing their own stuff right now. Some two other like consecrated girls are outside, and um, since we can't go out because we're taking it pretty seriously, we can't go out at all. Stairs. Each of them are in their room because they're having classes also online. And well, we're just doing the best we can, and this is the best we can. So I hope this ends soon and that we can go back to normal. But oh well, that's it. So okay, guys, see you later and peace out. Bye, guys.